Yeah. Lovely.
Sandy was going to, yeah. Oh, Burns
We
in.
have a burn coming in, yeah. Hey, could you forward me the email agenda? I looked back, I don't think I got it.
Let's see.
But I've also received a training CD. The fine line between excuses and reasons, you know?
You want just the agenda or you want all of it?
Yeah, you could just forward me the whole thing, please.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah.
You said it, you had me nervous for a minute, but I did send it to you. So.
I thought I remembered looking at it, but I couldn't.
I've got it set up as a group, so I just
Oh,
typed in
there you go,
police.
yeah.
That way it's a lot easier. I don't have to remember.
Yeah.
Forget to not remember or remember to not forget or something. Just burn it online, huh?
Yep, so far. Double check.
Hi, how you doing tonight?
Hello. Hi, Burn.
Good to see you. Thanks for all the hard work you've been doing.
Thank you.
When the meeting starts, I want to tell you a good thing. Or is now no good time? Can I tell you a good thing now?
Well, if it's a good thing, why don't you wait until we call the meeting to order? And number 4 is to receive guests. You can address it then. It'll be nice to have it on record.
I'll do it then. Thank you.
Thank you.
I found a mistake. Let's see if you pick up on that mistake.
Oh, boy, I did not find many, Chief.
I know, I didn't read it.
Down at the bottom of automated communications, it says 23, not 24.
Oh, yes, Yep.
When I was doing these, I was doing them all back in 23 and getting them all, you know.
I did not catch that.
I tell you, they got
It's funny, I'm fairly careful, you know, that's why I catch it. There's a numbering, you know, periods, and I completely missed that.
Semicolon.
All right, I have 6 PM. I'm gonna call the meeting to order and look for motion to either adjust the agenda or approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 3, consider approval of previous meeting minutes as presented.
Motion to approve the previous meeting minutes. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the previous meeting minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 4, receive guests. And we have Vern Rose online with us. Welcome, Vern.
Hi, thank you. I know so often it's easy to complain, but over the last 3 weeks, I've had the opportunity to interface personally or through someone with the police department and mental health, and the response that was offered and the support for the people that were involved in both of those situations made me want to come and tell you how grateful I am for the collaboration between the police department and mental health. And I was really concerned about somebody that I didn't know. And I checked in with the screeners and they gave me the lowdown of how everybody works together. And they just had super positive things to say about our police department and working with our police department. And I thought it was important to give you guys that feedback. So thank you very much and appreciate all your work.
Thank you, Vern.
Very nice to hear, Vern. Thank you. Oh, Steve?
Thank you.
I don't see any other guests. So we will move on. Councilor Wazazat, that is you, sir.
I don't think I have anything major to report. We were supposed to have, we had our first bargaining session with the union. That was very much a pro forma, setting meeting dates, that kind of stuff. And we're supposed to meet tomorrow, but with the snow down south, we rescheduled for Thursday. That's really all I got.
Wow, there's a lot going on, that's it.
I mean, I could talk for a long time.
Not suggesting
Yeah.
that. Right, are there any questions for the council? Thank you, Councilor, we appreciate you being a part of our committee. Chief, that's you. I hope yours is not quite so brief, or we're gonna be out of here in 15 minutes.
Well, I will say that it's, all the new shows have just come back on tonight.
That's true.
But they make a DVR.
So the reconstruction at the public safety building is very close to being completely finished, minus some furniture that is on order. So hopefully, I'm hoping that maybe the March meeting, if not, at least the April meeting, we can hold back.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
So it's coming along nicely, it looks very good. We held a detective assessment process, and officers Paul Russell and Michael Reel were both successful in that. Officer Russell has been reassigned effective last week from patrol to the criminal investigations division, and Officer Reel will be reassigned when staffing levels permit. We also, excuse me, received funding from the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, better known as JAG, for equipment purchases, and those equipment purchases have been commenced.
Was it for, are those for budgeted items or something for non-budgeted?
Non-budgeted items, things that we need, that we're able to get through that funding. And ironically, Edward Byrne was a New York City police officer that was killed in 1988, I think it was. And his killer just came up for parole this week, and they just denied him parole.
Okay.
But that's what the Justice Department is using his name for the memorial, for the grant. So that's a good grant to get.
Super.
Yeah.
We also received another round of what's known as John Law scholarships from VLCT, and these are again for the supervisory training, the
Excuse
FBI
me,
leaders.
Chief. Sandy's
Sandy's
waiting.
coming.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you for keeping an eye.
There she is.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, now,
Okay, it's working this time.
I've called the meeting to order. We're in the midst of the chief's report.
So as I was saying, the department received the John Law scholarships again for supervisory training, the FBI leader courses that we're sending everybody to. Yep. That's all I have.
Okay. We'll move on then from the chief's report. First on the agenda is number 206. This is automated communications. Falls under administrative procedures. First page again covers no policy purpose contents as usual, definitions. Any questions on page 1? Move to page 2, we get into guidelines and procedures, letters A through E. We will make a note, the chief pointed out prior to the meeting that has the date of 2023. That will be changed in the final copy. We'll move to page 3, which covers things that are prohibited. Letters A through G, anything there? Moving to page 4, covers number 4, which is responsibility. put an asterisk next to the bullet point of B. Monitors the department computerized arrest records and other restricted files to ensure integrity. Annually, the deputy chief of police or their designee will audit the police department active use roster. I guess I was questioning about, annually.
So the reason for that is we quite often, people either come or go through attrition. And what happens is they have their, what's called a switch account, they have their switch account turned off and everything. There has been, times where like somebody has forgotten to shut down one account. So I had it down as annually just to make sure that everything's taken care
And you feel like annually is often
of. I do feel it's
Because-
sufficient.
this gives access, this doesn't give
So we,
access to all of the, NCIS, NICS, or the.
no, so once all their accounts are shut down, they would expire anyway after 90 days with that, and you can't get on without the equipment, so it's not like they're in the building. So, and it's just to keep it clean, if there's any open accounts.
Okay,
Like we found in the city, for instance, we found, and this covers all of that as well. We found where people still had email accounts that had left.
yeah,
So it's just cleaning.
cleaning all of those kinds
Yeah,
of.
there's no security, issue with that.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Anything else on page 4? Moving over to page 5. Lot more bullet points. This is all under C for users. And then starting number 5, MDCs, mobile data computers. Any questions on page 5? Moving to page 6. We jump down to number 6 at the bottom of the page, Vermont Law Enforcement Telecommunications System, or VLETs, is that how
Yeah, it's called
what'd you say?
Basically, if you call in somebody's license plate and run their license and license plate on a traffic stop, it goes through the VLET system. It's a combination of everything.
This is more just a work question. So the mobile data computers, is this, talking about like you're not, folks aren't supposed to go in, and that's what the administrative settings and all of that stuff. Is that something that like the city's IT would handle if it went wrong, or is it like a third?
It's the deputy chief that
Oh.
handles the mobile data computers.
So that's, I'll add on to that, to your response. He currently is the deputy chief, can have a designee that's appointed to that, to be able to do that as well, right? Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to be sure. Okay, that's it for page 6. Anybody have questions? Any other questions on page 6? We'll move to 7. That moves down to number 7, which talks about the VLET's messages, including criminal records checks and stolen property. And I guess, and I think I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. I ask stupid questions in this meeting quite a lot, so. VLETs, let's say you run a license plate. Does that automatically also get run for neighboring states, or is that just for Vermont? So like you run a Vermont license plate and it's Joe Smith, and New Hampshire has a Joe Smith, doesn't necessarily be the same Joe Smith, but has a Joe Smith. When you run that search, does it go outside of Vermont through VLETs automatically?
No.
Okay,
So the only way it goes outside of Vermont automatically is if you run what's an NCIC check on an individual. So what would happen is if, for instance, you got pulled over and they ran your Vermont registration, your Vermont license, and checked just Vermont database. if they asked if there's any wants or warrants, it would run an NCIC check, and then it would come up with what's called a Soundex hit, indicating that there's another Joe Smith or Bob Nelson that exists elsewhere, and if that person's wanted, or if they have a similar name, it doesn't mean it's a confirmation, it just says you have to dig a little further, because you'd have to say, okay, this is a different date of birth or whatever, it's,
Right.
you know, this is a male, this is a female, this, you know, is a whatever, and you go through and then.
This is human characteristics or something, okay. I kind of assumed that, but just a curiosity thing. Any other questions on page 7? Moving to page 8. We have wanted persons, and then number 8 talks about authorized use of the VLETs, the NCIC, and the CJIS systems. Any questions on any of that? Okay, moving on to page 9. NCIC hits to wants verification is numeral 9. According to NCIC procedures, I've got a note here, sorry. NCIC, please do not respond to all notifications. When. Are there any other, as I ask, in accordance with NCIC procedures, will respond to all notifications from inmates or FBI when these things are in order? And are there other, I guess my question is, what other notifications might there be that would pop up, or is that just, you're referring just to the NCIC? Right,
So basically, if there's a NCIC hit that comes in, say it's for a stolen vote, this is NCIC specific in that we have to verify if the warrant is still active or if the stolen item is still active. And we have to respond within a certain amount of time to that agency, and you'll see on the next page, I think it is, that says you do, how you respond to hits, you have so many minutes to respond. If they send an urgent message, like if they have a armed and dangerous individual on the side of the road in another state, you have to respond in such an amount of time.
To say yes, it's a valid,
Per their standards.
Okay. There's a lot of acronyms in there, and there's a lot of,
Yes.
so. Sorry to,
No, no worries. NCIC stands for National Crime Information Center.
okay, any other questions on page 9 on this?
No, it's very informative.
Yes, it
Very
is.
easy to understand.
Number 10 covers some of what the chief just explained, and number 11 is the security of the VLET messages. Starts that. So I have a little note there. That is the only line under 11, chief, is just to ensure the conformity. That's it, okay. Just want to make sure it was missing something. If there's nothing there, then page 11 is the cancellation, and the signature page, and the index. Sandy, you good? Okay. So here, nothing else on there. I would entertain a motion to approve number 206, automated communications, with the one change of adjusting the date to take place in 2024.
Motion to approve 206.
I will second Sam's motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Council, you good?
Yep.
Okay, then I will call the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Did you say Sandy?
Yes, Abby.
I just wrote that.
Unanimous. Number 206 passes unanimously. The next on the agenda is number 210, facility access and control. This also falls under administrative procedures. Again, you have the typical note, the policy and the purpose, contents, and then number 1, no definitions needed really here. Number 1 is physical security. Is there any questions on page 1?
No.
Hearing none, we'll move to 2. Page 2 helps cover restricted access areas. Any questions there?
Do you feel that the CCTV cameras we have for you guys are adequate at this point?
There's a couple actually that are kind of fogged up, and we did have it since town meeting day and all the budget process was moved. I don't know if we got to that point in there, but we had an item in there that we were gonna invest more into the system, and we parlayed that off. I don't know if it went into the capital improvement plan, or we're waiting one
That's
year
gonna be
to.
my other question,
Yeah, but you'll see also, not to jump ahead, but you'll see where it says safe exchange zone. I want a specific camera for that, and I'll explain all that as well.
I saw that. That was interesting. Good counsel.
Yep.
Anything else on page 2? We'll move on to page 3, which includes the locker rooms, the kitchen and break room. So I guess I had a procedural question. Break room tables and counters should not be used for processing and or display of controlled dangerous substances.
Yes.
So I could leave my books on the counter, but I can't bring illicit legal drugs.
So I'll tell you what the reason for that is.
Okay,
In there, if you've ever seen some of our Facebook posts, where you'll see an array of drugs that have been confiscated.
okay,
That,
that's where they take the picture.
when I got here, they were doing that, and I'm like, that's where people eat. Do it elsewhere. So that's what that's there for.
Why are you guys all laughing? Okay. Yes, that's an odd reference, an odd thing, I'm glad. Actually, I'm sad that I asked. Because you had the answer. And does the on-duty supervisor get an additional stipend for making sure that the break room is clean?
No, it's just, they need accountability.
Yes, we need to whip in a chair at Nelson's to keep the break room clean, that's what I asked. Number 5 at the bottom of the page is visitor pass and identification procedures. Does anybody else have anything on page 3? Moving over to page 4, balance of that, and then goes into visitors, including the visitor log. There's nothing there. We'll move on to page 5, which covers number 6, numeral 6, vaping, smoking, and use of tobacco products. And the prohibited smoking areas, the designated smoking areas, smokeless tobacco use, and parking is the last one on that page.
You did the summer.
Any questions there? Okay, we'll move to page 6, which includes employee parking and vehicle parking for other agencies. Number 8 is snow removal on page 6. Talks about the responsibilities in keeping the area clear and making sure you move vehicles when necessary. Any questions there? We'll move on to page 7, which includes the walkways, and then the future item, number 9, which I will let the chief go into. He mentioned it a moment ago, the safe exchange zone.
Right, so we're gonna have, two of the parking spots up front will be signed with a safe exchange zone. For instance, if you purchase something off of Craigslist or something, you don't know the person, a safe place to meet would be at the police department. If you do it in those two spots, we're gonna have a video camera in the regular CCTV system that they can zoom in if people are parked there doing an exchange, and will be recorded. So there'll be more of a safety feature there for anybody. But also we have that clause that says that doesn't mean we're accountable for,
Right.
if you got damaged item or whatever.
Right.
We're just providing that service to folks to be able to use a designated area, that they know is gonna be video monitored closely.
That was an extremely awesome idea. Was it your idea to do that?
Yeah, we've done it previously where it came from.
That's.
Yeah, I
such a
think
good
that's great,
idea.
too.
Yeah.
How many calls for fraudulent eBay sales, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace do you get? Is there a lot?
Not quite a lot.
We get more of the scam calls than we do the fraudulent eBay
Yeah.
calls. But one of the biggest things we have had are the listing apartments and houses for sale that aren't. And that does happen.
Yeah, give me $10,000 today. Yeah. It's too good to be true.
Or if they say, just put it on a vanilla card, you know that it's not a good idea.
All right, I have to ask, what's a vanilla card?
Oh, you can buy the, blank cards you can buy at the store and you put money on it to whatever denomination it says you're allowed to put it on. And it's pretty much non-traceable. So they can get away with taking your money, basically. It's like a legal form of laundering that money, so. Yeah. I know someone who actually was dumb enough to do that. That's why.
Yeah. So Steve, I have this card for you.
I thought it was just our federal government that did that kind of bait and switch.
Nope.
All right, after that is inspections.
Excuse me,
Yes.
hi. I was taking a safety class today from the Council on Aging on scams. And what you're just talking about came up as one of the big scams is an AI scam where people are called and they've synthesized or put together somebody's a voicemail. We need you to get some money because of this emergency, or we've taken this child or this person. And it sounds real because what they've done is taken clips from people's voices. And I really like this safe space as a, so it's not meet me out behind the dumpster or up on, the some other way out place, but that it gives people some control over what they're doing if they think there might be a problem. So thanks for thinking of that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll be honest, I worry about that with AI because they can make you look and sound and say stuff you never said.
Exactly, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
We will move to, unless there's anything else on page 7. Thank you, Bert, by the way. We'll go to 11, which is the cancellation, the signature page, and the index. And at that point, I would entertain a motion that we approve 210. We have no changes. We're approved 210, which is facility access and control.
Motion to approve facility access and control.
I'll second that, Lisa.
We have a motion in a second.
You're fine.
Is there any other discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor say aye. We have a unanimous approval of number 210. Moving on to item 9, discuss and consider approving 404 patrol rifle program. This again falls under operational procedures. There is, again, the typical note, policy, purpose, the contents, and then we start with number 1, which is selection, and number 2, which is equipment.
Is the patrol rifle program, is that like just a term of art that you're using, or is it like a state?
Most agencies, excuse me, do have a policy called the patrol rifle program. Basically what happened is, and it started back with the Draga incident, where all the officers used to carry shotguns, which don't really, they're not effective. And when they learned that, they went to patrol rifles, but they needed all these, logistics and
Yeah.
and policies to cover.
And so no expectation to change it, from the 6 hour. The only reason I ask is if you decided at some point, this doesn't say or similar weapon,
Yes, it does.
semi-automatic 6 hour for an identical.
Oh, okay, I see it. I see what you're saying. And identical weapons manufactured by the 6 hour company. Yeah,
Oh, identical
Yeah.
weapons, you know,
right. So if we do change it, we would just
massage it.
massage that.
Okay, I just want to make sure you weren't pigeonholing yourself or
Nope.
something. I know this isn't necessarily hard and fast, written in stone, but just in case. Anything else on page 1? We'll roll over to page 2.
Can I ask a question on this one? So under C, where it says personally owned rifles may be used provided they meet the above criteria,
Mhm.
that just seems a little sketchy to me. I don't know, it just seems like you would have your work thing
No,
separate
so
from your
it's-
personal
it's-
thing.
It's the same as in the, if you recall, I'm not sure if you were at the meeting or not, with the authorized weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Falls under those same guidelines that individuals, is what it's saying basically is it has to meet everything, otherwise you can't
Right.
use it. I know it does sound sketchy, but they are
Yeah.
allowed to, as long as it meets those standards, have that weapon, specifically like a detective's vehicle does not have a patrol rifle, so if they were to have their own, that's what that would cover.
Okay, I just get worried when things like
No,
this
they-
are crossed in work and,
Yep, no,
Personal.
they have to, it has to go through all the parameters, they have to qualify with it. It's, although you may think it's not really sketchy,
okay.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
that's a
I
good
might,
question.
I might add something, if, with a personal weapon, if you've got it, you might shoot 10,000 rounds on your own, as opposed to however many
Right.
rounds are necessary to qualify. So, there's the comfort level, that you're carrying a weapon that that you could hit what you're aiming at, should, God forbid, you need to. So that was
Right.
kind of the way I interpreted that.
Yeah.
Is that reasonable?
Does it happen much?
It's in there in case somebody wanted to. It's just saying you can't bring in some piece of junk that
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
conform.
That takes us down to number 3 towards the bottom of the page, which is the procedures, including training and qualifications. Any questions there? Most of that is directly addressed in other policies. There's nothing there. We'll move to page 3. This covers deployment guidelines. And C and D. Is anything on this page? We'll flip to page 4, transportation and storage. I had a question under F. Rifle shall be stored in the trunk of the officer's assigned vehicle. At the end, it says, after use, the rifle will be returned to the cruiser
Cruiser ready condition.
to cruiser ready condition. Cruiser ready condition includes cleaning, because it doesn't specifically
No,
say that.
cruiser ready, for instance, you can't, and you look at the cruiser ready, it's defined up above where it says the rifle will be kept in cruiser ready.
Mhm.
A loaded magazine is inserted, but a bolt forward on an empty chamber. So you can't have a chambered round in the gun.
Right.
You can just have it cruiser ready, so all you have to do is slide that bolt,
Yep.
ready to go.
Unless it's tactical, then you have it.
Right, I mean, and that's
chambered, right?
when they're doing it, you know, God forbid they have to use it and they're doing a tactical thing, they would chamber. it
Yeah, I was gonna
and get
say, if
ready,
it's
but
not
when
chambered-
when it's stored, it can't.
Right,
do that.
yeah, right.
Okay. I guess what I was thinking, the exception is when the rifle is deployed. I'm thinking it might be fired, and that's why I was questioning the cleaning of it.
Right, and that's all under the care and maintenance that, you know, if you're gonna be using them on the range for training or whatever, they have to be cleaned, because they're used, they have to be cleaned.
Okay. All right. See,
Inspector.
another dumb question in the chair.
There's no doubt
Never a
question
dumb
about it.
Care and maintenance. Is next at the bottom of page 4. Is there anything else?
Who is the armorer?
Steve Durgan, Sergeant Durgan, is the armorer for the SIG weapons.
Going to page 5. Numerals, reporting 5 and 6, removal of the, from the rifle patrol program. It's cancellation, and the signature page, and the index. Is there anything on there? Okay, I would entertain a motion that we approve the 404 patrol rifle program as presented. You have a motion?
Motion to approve. 404.
Is that a second? So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Aye, thank you. We have unanimous approval again. The last one, this is the long one. Number 10, which is to discuss and consider approving 806, the automated crash reporting system. This falls under the field reporting system. And the first page has the note, policy purpose, the contents, the introduction, and the report preparation. Is there any question on page 1?
Yeah, under Roman number 1 there. System will use report all motor vehicle collisions except minor parking lot collisions.
Yes.
So my question is, doesn't an insurance company, any collision, ask for a police report? And if that's the case, is that in conflict with that?
No, so the minor parking lot collisions, we have what's called a Valcor incident report system. So if you call in, whatever you call in, it gets logged into that. The minor parking lot collisions go through that.
Like the guy back in me,
Right.
yeah.
This automated crash reporting system is a statewide system, where you have to actually enter all your crash reports, with the exception of the minor parking lot collisions are handled through your own incident management system. So if you're an insurance company and you want the information,
Right.
you're gonna get the officer's narrative in the Valcor system. This automated crash reporting system is, in the state of Vermont, it's called CrashWeb.
Okay.
So anytime an officer does a crash, they have to put it in Valcor, but they have to enter it in the system. And this is covered through the state.
Okay, so the insurance company can go to them and say, oh, what's the details, and there you go. Basically, okay.
Anything else on page 1? Page 2, which is the backside of that, number 3 is report processing, and then we've got the cancellation, signature, and index page. Questions here? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion for to approve number 806, which is the automated crash reporting system, as presented.
So moved.
We got a motion and a second. I'll let Kristen figure that out.
Sorry.
Mhm. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? We have another unanimous approval. Next on the agenda would be miscellaneous. Does anyone have anything for miscellaneous?
Just a comment, that again, what's the word, for the clarity and the thoroughness of all these policies is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and but I think that's why we don't have a ton of questions,
Right.
because when you look at it, yeah, it's covered. There it is.
You explained absolutely everything in detail and easy to understand terminology.
Unfortunately, you have to for, you know, because an officer, if you think about it, an officer can't know everything, and they have to have something to resort back to, so.
A lot of times though, things are written that are just like, wait, what the heck does that mean? And like, yeah, no, you break things down like.
It's obviously not written by a politician.
Have you ever read a legislative bill?
Literally. Oh, that's what I was gonna add to, is that it's so easy to get into like the acronyms with all of this stuff. I think we do a really good job of balancing.
Great.
Agreed. So, next month. Sure.
Next month is March.
Next month is March.
It would be March 11th.
Yeah,
11th, wow.
It's the Monday.
Monday.
I'm good. For some reason I thought I had a conflict and I was gonna suggest that we skip, but,
We also, SLP is on the,
Teddy.
schedule that day.
Oh, during the day?
Yeah.
so you guys all have a lot to.
Yeah, we'll have a bonding day.
You got more in the queue? Okay. You're making it easy on us. So maybe next time, get 6 or 8.
I can certainly do that.
Yeah, right, let's get some juices going.
We
Some
don't need
lighting.
14, like we had once, although we did get out of here before 8 that night.
Yeah, we
To
did,
be
that was
fair.
a long one.
Oh, and also thank you for, the website. You switch up the transparency page a little bit, it's easier to navigate.
Yes.
That whole page looks great, by the way. It
And
does.
that's where all the policies, I'm assuming you found the public link to all the policies.
Yes, that's what I wrote. Yeah. Cause it just occurred to me that I didn't know whether that actually had happened.
Yep.
Very easy to navigate.
I will, before I call for a motion to adjourn, I'll just say thank you all for your work. And thank you, Bern, for zooming in and checking in on us.
Yes, thank you,
And
Brad.
after that, I will listen to the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion in a second, non-debatable. All those in favor?
Aye.
Another unanimity.
We just so, we just.
Yeah, someone should have
learned
put
how
it
to
on
get
or
along.
something.
Good night, Sandy.
Aye.
Next, Andy. I'm gonna learn to use this.